Hello everybody, I hope you're having an amazing day, and today I would like to share my final thoughts on the QYGMGS model WD107. So I've spoken quite highly about this brand before in the past. Let's just get right into it. I'm pulling my information off of Amazon over here. This guy, you can pick it up right now for $189. Now that is a good chunk of money for this, but this company does offer discounts here and there. Right now at the recording of this video, there is a little 5% off coupon. I didn't pay this price. I was actually sent a personal coupon for my use only. Sent by the actual company so that I can check this out. And so I got it for a little bit less. I can't remember off the top of my head what I got it for, but with the price out of the way, let's go down here. Let me look for some of the specs. I've never really been too fond of specs off of Amazon, but things here seem they're all right. I do have a handful of knives over here off to the side for visual comparison that I'll be pulling out in a second. So the blade length on this is 3.28 inches. Weight is 3.6 ounces, not bad at all. And the overall length is 7.92 inches. Manufactured in China. M390 blade material. Whether it's heat treated properly or not, most likely it's not, but it still performs well with my general cutting tasks. I'm going to be bringing out some size comparison knives right here. So let's start with, let's do my Benchmades. This is the Osborne 940. Going to be pretty close in overall length. Cutting edge is very similar. Handle length is very similar too. My bug out over here, definitely sharing a lot of the same like blade shape and aesthetic. They actually have the same thumb studs because these are aftermarket thumb studs, and I know I typically don't modify any knives before a review comes around, but it was something that just needed to happen. The original thumb studs were on it. They worked, but they just didn't fit the design, in my opinion. So I bought some aftermarket thumb studs, put it on, and it works just the same, just as great. This guy's a little bit longer in handle length. Couple more. Let's do my Civivi Elementum, definitely a lot longer. Demco 80-20.5. About the same in handle length, but this one over here, it's definitely a lot longer in the cutting area. And last two is going to be my Spyderco Para 3. Close to the same in handle length, but definitely a lot longer in cutting edge. And I'm going to be using today my Hogue Doug Ritter. This is the full size one. Very close in handle length, but I think the Doug Ritter has just a hair bit more cutting length. Not too much, nothing to write home about. So that's it for size comparisons. So just in my unboxing of this, if you guys go back and check that out, this thing is extremely impressive, and for the price that it's coming at, I would say it's honestly not that bad. This company is able to produce something like this, being such a new company. They're not as big as Civivi, or Benchmade. They don't produce things in such like mass quantities with a bajillion different models. They have like 5 or 6 current models. 2 of them are premium. This is the other one. I have another titanium flipper that is offered by their company, and that one's amazing too. But I will say about this thing that this feels ultra premium. This is the nicest button lock I've ever interacted with. And I will say I've only interacted with budget button locks. So I believe it was 3 from the Civivi line, 1 from Kaiser, and I feel like I'm missing another one. Oh, Sencut. What else? Oh, and the Raccoon by Vostede. So far, those are all the button locks that I've interacted with. This is the only one that has, you know, premium materials and it's supposed to have a overall premium finish to it. This thing feels pretty darn nice, and it might be because of how the button's constructed here. It is a large pad with some little textured milled into it that is not titanium, that is actually steel, but majority of this knife is actually titanium, which is quite impressive. So there's back spacer, the liners are very thin. There's no weight relieving on the inside, but it is light enough that it's honestly, it doesn't feel like a brick at all. This is deceptively light. The fitment of the scales and the titanium bolsters up here is very clean. I do enjoy that a lot. This little decorative area is nicely machined. No weird spots or marks that are out of place. The hardware on this guy, T8 for the pivot and T6 for everything else. Now, I understand that for appearance's sake, that smaller screws do look nicer. Thankfully, the T6 screws on here are actually pretty good quality and they are very deep. So you're able to get a pretty good purchase when you're taking this knife apart. But still, T8s are going to be a little bit more preferable. Removing these carbon fiber scales up here, there are some more T6 screws holding in this back spacer. And another cool little thing about this back spacer that I've noticed that a lot of other premium knives don't do when they have a matchy titanium back spacer is that this back spacer actually has little ridges on the side to fit onto the actual titanium liners, and it kind of holds onto itself. So taking this knife apart is very easy. Putting it back together is extremely easy. You don't have to worry about positioning this in the right manner and holding it at an angle, trying to go against gravity without it slipping out. Once you have it in there and you just put a little bit of pressure holding it, it pinches itself in there because there is a groove that helps it to meet up right there. So I don't know if you guys are able to see that. But yeah, there is a little channel that's on that back spacer that holds it onto the liners itself. Looking at this blade here, this is a wonderful blade. I do definitely enjoy it. It's very basic EDC friendly for all tasks and things like that. Again, with the thumb studs, the original ones were massive. They were huge. And as you can see, that is definitely in the cutting path for sure. But you still have all this usable edge up here pretty much. I will say that it would have been nicer to have a little bit larger area for a finger choil, or just maybe not to have the thumb stud in the way so much. I personally don't notice it, but I know a lot of people you know, take that into account when making a purchase like this. Like if there's anything going to be like in the way of actually cutting and use of this thing. Yeah. But there are no markings, which is wonderful. The only branding on this is actually just the steel stamp, which is right there. It says in there M390. There is no branding on this, and that is absolutely wonderful. I understand that this company is pretty new, but they're getting it. They get it. They actually listen to people and what they want. You know, you have so many other companies that practically cover up their blade with specs and where it came from and the material and you know, which model or series or the name or the collaboration and designers and all that kind of stuff, the date, the production number, things like that. No one cares about that kind of stuff, and if you really do need to put that on there, put it in the box, because for the people that do actually care about limited quantity and the name and all that other kind of like information that would be on it, put it on a QC card and allow somebody to be able to enjoy the knife as it's supposed to be, as a, you know, functional, you know, work of art. Just put it on a QC card, put it on the packaging, don't put it on the knife. I love that this company gets it. And, you know, even if it had it on like the pocket clip, and speaking about the pocket clip, it's actually pretty nice. It's milled titanium. There's this little, they're like little hollow grinds on each side. It's just nice how it plays with the light, for sure. It goes in and out of the pocket really well. But on the titanium flipper that's produced by this company, that model has QYGMGS on the actual pocket clip, and that's it. There's no marks anywhere else, and it's beautiful. It really is. So that's something I definitely do enjoy. The finish on this is bead blast, and I know a lot of people don't really like that. I personally am okay with it because really there are only a couple options for blade finishes at this price point, and for manufacturers like this. Belt satin, which goes to shit just by looking at it, honestly. Bead blast and stonewash. So stonewash is, well, I guess I'm gonna start here. Belt satin finish, it is the cheapest. It was the easiest to mess up on, honestly, if you have very poor consistency when it comes to grinding. But in my opinion, it's the worst to have unless done really, really well, even still. And then the next cheapest is probably going to be the stone washing, but at least in my opinion, it's a more preferable one, because for people who are actually going to use their knife, you won't have to really worry about scratches and things like that. Now this knife can, the actual blade itself can easily be modified by putting a stone wash on it, because it's currently at a bead blast, so all it would really take is just throwing it in a little tumbler with some rocks. It doesn't have to be an actual branded tumbler or anything like that. It could just be a Gatorade bottle with some stones. That's really it. Of course, you would end up completely demolishing your edge in the process, but with the M390 being on the softer side, really isn't that difficult to sharpen it up, honestly. The thickness behind the edge, I don't have the measurements for that, but I will say that it is in the middle. It's not thick at all. It's not like super crazy thin where I feel like I'm, you know, I could touch my finger through the other side. But it's wonderful for basic EDC tasks. So, and the action on this, it's absolutely wonderful. It is on ceramic ball bearings, and of course, no detent, but because this is a plunge lock. So that's what acts as the detent, the strength of the spring. Talking about the spring on this thing, after my unboxing of this, I couldn't put it down. This thing is so awesome. I was just continuously playing with it, flipping it, and I noticed that the tension was getting really, really loose, and like I would just give it like a little whip and the blade would just come flying out, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? So I took the knife apart, I cleaned it, put it back together, gave the spring a little bit of stretch. It helped, but it didn't stay for too long. And it went back to being really, really loose, and it wasn't such a great thing. So I did reach out to the company. It took them a second, but they sent me some springs, replacement springs. So I put a new one back inside, gave that a little bit of stretch. And I did notice that the new springs that they sent me, they were a little bit harder, a little bit tougher than the springs that came with this knife standard. And now it feels a lot better. This has the same amount of force and tension that needs to be put as my Benchmade Osborne 940. Now I have said in the past multiple times that this is a very light and easy blade to kick out with the thumb studs. And I understand that they're completely two different opening and closing mechanisms here. But what I'm really referring to is the amount of intent and pressure that needs to go behind these thumb studs to actually get the blade out. So I love this knife so much that I put, upgrades on it that are worth more than the knife itself. So if anything, that's just a testament to how great the action of this knife is now. Any complaints? I don't really think I had any complaints. Any critiques? Actually, you know what? There was one tiny ass little mark on this blade that it was just a QC issue, not that big of a deal, but it'd be a little bit difficult to see. But right there's a spot where the titanium looks like it's a little rough. Wouldn't take much to get rid of that or to sand it off, but that's it. When taking this knife apart, I needed to make a little YouTube short just sharing how wonderful this thing was on the inside. It's manufactured beautifully and it's exciting. I'm super excited for this new company coming up. They have a handful of budget models and only 2 premium ones. But even at that price point, if I were to, would I agree with the full price of that? Not so much. I would say that if it was like $160 with a little random discount here and there that you're able to add on purchasing from Amazon with like other models and other companies, I think that's fair. But I would say, okay, I'm gonna cut this company a little bit of slack because they're new. They don't have the biggest name. They don't have the biggest followings to be able to, the demand just isn't there. So they're producing things with, a little bit of space for profit, of course, and for, new designs and experimentation. I've been keeping in contact almost on a daily basis, honestly, with one of their marketing managers through Instagram and Amazon. They have sent me 2 free knives, which is amazing of them. This is the only company that has ever actually got with me and sent me something for free to check out, fully knowing that, their contribution to the channel isn't going to change how I feel about their company. And it's definitely not taking it as a bribe or anything like that. If it's good, it's good. If it's shit, it's shit. I'm not gonna recommend it. But this company, just keep an eye out on them. Just keep looking at them, see if anything new pops up on Amazon. I did ask just the other night if there are any new things coming up, and I was told that there are a handful of new prototypes that the company's been doing really well, and they are going to be coming out with some more budget stuff and maybe a premium one here or there in the middle of next year, which would be pretty awesome. I'll definitely be looking into that. And I personally will not shy away moving forward from making a multi-$100 purchase on this company because of what I have here in front of me, what I have here to share with you guys, what I've experienced in the past. Just a great company overall. With that, take care, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be linking this down in the description. And that's it.